everybody! Welcome to FIFI Quest, the only podcast broadcast live from a winter sable hunting shed in northern Siberia. Yes, I was dropped off here by my comrades in the Soviet Union in October of this year, telling me they would bring back supplies uh, by Christmas, which in Russia is in January, of course, thanks to Stalin. And they have having they have yet to return. And should they fail to do so, I intend to keep making my way, trapping the Siberian sable and selling their pelts and raising my fine red hounds as I meander about the taiga in eternal pursuit of the hunt. What I just described, actually, that's the plot of a Werner Herzog documentary called Happy People, and it's fucking dope. There's this guy the guy gets dropped off in Siberia hunting sable for the Soviet Union, and they just were like, oh fuck, we can't get you, you're dead. We can't get you any supplies. We can't get anybody supplies in this city, even hardly. We're gonna get your ass in Siberia. Forget about it. And yeah, and he has a bunch of dogs, and he's hot as fuck. Like, imagine, like, a hot Rasputin. Yeah. Ruin my dynasty with your witchery, baby. Yeah. And it's a really, really beautiful documentary. They make homemade skis out of a tree, and they make homemade canoes by cutting a log down the middle and hollowing out the middle, and then putting widening braces in it, and putting it over a fire, and spraying it with tar. Oh, another thing they do, they take the sap. I believe they take sap and tar, maybe? Something like that. And they mix it together to make natural mosquito repellent. Because apparently in the spring and summer, in Siberia, the mosquitoes get fucking insane. They get like near Minnesotan levels. Can I just say where I'm from in South Dakota, which is for all intents and purposes Minnesota, really, because I'm from the Northeast, you know? Mosquitoes, they're terrible. And you guys that don't have them anywhere else, you have no idea how, like, lucky you are. Because you gotta spray poison on yourself to go outside, and then you gotta wash yourself off if you're gonna go inside, because you can't get it on your furniture. Shit's gross. They're just sucking blood out of your tits. Mosquito tit blood. Terrible. Yeah. What else happens in that movie? Oh yeah, they make skis. I told you about that. The man told about his favorite dog, Reddy, who liked the color red, who got killed by a grizzly bear. That was sad. And it's one of my favorite movies. And I love Werner Herzog, too. And now he's in The Mandalorian, or as I call it, the Baby Yoda and Mean Man show. By the way, can I just tell you, I love The Mandalorian. I'm going to tell you this right now. I love the Baby Yoda so goddamn much. Watching The Mandalorian with me, it's every 8 minutes I just go, oh my god, the Baby Yoda, you push your button, he's not supposed to push your button, for cute. Every 8 minutes he does that, because he's always futzing with stuff he's not supposed to futz with. I love that little guy. He's the cutest thing. Any man who speaks to me after I've watched the Baby Yoda can for sure get it in. Yeah. And by the way, I thought I was done with Star Wars. I watched the fucking Last Jedi, and that thing was a piece of shit. Ugh. Ugh. God, I don't. By the way, so many things in that film. They did it in a wonderful little show you may not have seen called Battlestar Galactica, and they did it shitty. And then after that, I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done with Star Wars. a grown woman. Crying out loud, I don't need to watch the space crap. I watched a good space crap called Star Trek. But then I'm watching Mandalorian and I'm having fun and I'm like, oh my god, there's a Jawa Sandcrawler, and then there's the Tusken Raiders, and they're gonna go after a Crate Dragon, and the AT-ST that's gonna attack this village, and I'm like, oh my god, there's a Twi'lek and a Gamorrean, and the Gamorreans are boxing, and I'm like, I remember all the species, all the designations for the machines, and I'm like, Star Wars, I never hated you. I loved you all along. My relationship with Star Wars is a lot like... It's just like my relationship with God, because there were years like, fuck God, I hate this, and now I'm all like, no, I never really didn't believe. Anyway, watching that. And, other than that, excuse me, jeez. I got some red pepper in my throat, because I made a lovely chicken burrito tonight and seasoned it very well. But I didn't have any lime. And if some lime juice would have made it. Forget about it. Acid, acid, acid. If I made that show Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat or whatever, I would have been called Acid, 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 Fudge. Just to throw a wild card in there. Yeah. Gotta throw acid into your meals. Most meals are lacking. Remember Thanksgiving episode? I've been saying this. A Thanksgiving meal is lacking in acid traditionally. So what I recommend is you throw some lime or some leaven or even some orange will suffice into your cranberries. Goddamn if that won't make your whole Thanksgiving pop. You remember that? You all remember that? Next time you're doing Thanksgiving. I am compelling you to remind... I am etching these statements into your neurons. Add acid in Thanksgiving. You'll all remember it next year. Presuming we're allowed to meet with people by then. It's so funny when people are like, oh, thank God 2020's over, 2021 is happening. It's like, it's going to be probably the same shit till the summer, let's say. Yeah. It is what it is, though. What are you going to do? I've been saying to you guys, I've really opened up a lot more this year, so I've probably been more open with people and in life than I ever have been, and really changed in a lot of ways for the better, and I think I'm in a position now to go even further with that and really, really become close to people. One thing I realized recently is I want to have more close friends. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people are friendly with me, and a lot of people have really like I told you when I was doing that GoFundMe a couple months ago. A lot of people really showed up to help me and really love me. And now what I want to do is I really want to put the time in to build relationships. Everybody, my playback froze. I want to really put in the time to get close to people because there's so many people who love me that just why not? And I think I'm doing the right things to get past those blocks. I should tell you guys as FIFI Quest listeners. By the way, as you know, there was no episode last week. I'm thinking I should give a little update on the state of FIFI Quest. La condición del FIFI Questo. I wanna go every other week, rather. Just because I kind of, I started this to document my transition and hopefully it could be a resource to other people and I could, and it could serve as a resource and, if need be, inspiration to people. I just kind of feel like I'm just sort of running out of stuff to say on that front. And, it'll be, you know, it's all less new to me. Now, granted, there'll be some bigger changes coming through, especially when I get, bottom surgery and that sort of thing. And, if I want to go for FFS, too. That's facial feminization surgery, by the way. And here's the thing. I'll talk a little bit about that. I called Kaiser Permanente, my health insurance provider. By the way, I've mentioned this before, but it behooves mentioning. If you are trans and you're in a state that offers Kaiser Permanente, now mind you, I live in California. I can't attest anywhere else, but my experience with Kaiser is that they have been great for trans stuff and mental health stuff. So I'm very, very pleased with the level of services that they've been offering. If you're not in California, presumably you could get a video appointment with someone in, let's just say you're in a state that has Kaiser, and, maybe they don't have a lot of trans services in your area. You can get video visits with people who are, and they can take your blood work and all that, and they can prescribe stuff for you. They've been doing it during COVID. And, so yeah, anyway, what I did was I called their transgender services. As you may or may not know, depending on how new you are to the show, I've been on hormone therapy for about 10 months. My levels are pretty good. And, meaning my estrogen and testosterone. So, what I did now was I can have bottom surgery after a year of hormones, which is in 2 months. What I need to do that is I need to get 2 physician's letters, psychiatrists, I believe, which I can go do. Just the only thing stopping me from doing that is just getting up and doing it. Then I can move forward, and they send me a bunch of resources about who does vaginoplasty or orchiectomies in Kaiser Network. And, I'm not gonna lie, you guys. That's scary. It's, look, man, I don't doubt where I'm going with my transition or with my life, but I don't care who you are. Someone tells you they're gonna turn your penis inside out, you're gonna go, what? You're gonna do what with my what now? Oh boy. Yeah, it's a major surgery. It's a big deal. And, it's scary. Sometimes I have resistance to it. It's gonna get a little PG-13 the rest of this segment. But, sometimes I think maybe I don't want to do all that. But, there are times I shave my whole body twice a week. By the way, I got a home laser thing. That thing's a piece of shit. It's better than nothing, but not by a lot. But yeah, I sometimes when I shave my whole body on those days, sometimes I'll look at myself in the mirror, and I will tuck my you-know-whats behind, and I'll look at myself in the mirror like that, and, I'll just light up with euphoria. And, so I think the only resistance I have to bottom surgery is that I don't think I'm worthy of big things, or I'm capable of big things, and I know I am. Deep down, I know I am, so I'm going to move forward and, I guess it's just a question of like, do I want to do the full vaginoplasty and orchiectomy? Do I want to? I have a friend who just did the orchiectomy. She's doing it in segments. Um, you know, and maybe she won't. Maybe she won't go. I mean, it sounds like she's thinking that, but like, well, who knows what she'll decide to do to go the full vaginoplasty. Um, yeah, I mean, look who's kidding who. It's a delicate part of your body. The idea of doing things to it it's a tall order. So, and you know what, too? Like, the more research I've done about it, facial feminization surgery is a fucking no joke. It's really traumatic. They're shaving bones off your face. They're opening up your face and shaving down bones, fam. I mean, you know, yeah. And like the hairline, and like what the jury is still out for me whether I even want to do that, but like if I did, supposedly hairline is the most intense version because you get like this big ass scar and you're like they're like cutting the skin off your head and yanking it forward, it's no joke. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I am worthy of big things and I want to have. This sentence might sound odd out of context, but I'm worthy of a vagina. I deserve to feel happy. I deserve to know that that's a good thing. It's okay that I know that's a good thing and feel like it's a good thing. So that's that. That's surgery update. Yeah. Oh, the way I got down in this tangent, I was going to tell you guys a little bit about like the state of the show. As I said, I think I'm going to go every other week from now on. Because, frankly, my TikTok is taking off big time. In a little under, 27 days, I went from 7 followers to 102,000. Yeah. And as much as I really love FIFI Quest and as much as it's important to me personally, and how much it's meant to other lovely people I've met who are fans of the show, it did not take off as a money-making situation, whereas TikTok really did, and it's time for me to make some money moves, as Lady Cardamom Bee says to do. And yeah, so it's just I'm going to, like, when I look at the time I put into FIFI Quest versus the time I put into TikTok and like how fruitful it is, it's like, forget about it. So what I think I will do is I'll stop thinking of this as like a money-making thing and more of it as I guess an act of service, let's say, because I can be like, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm going through. Take what's useful to you, if anything is. I hope it is. Like I've said, it's useful for me to do. So there's that. And I think I'll share a little more about what I'm going to try to do with the business side of things. I think what I will do. Right now, people are paying me from TikTok just through donations, and I'm doing well. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm prosperous with it yet, but I'm not worried about money, which is a big deal for me, as you know. What I think I'm going to do is start a Patreon, and all patrons get access to what I'm thinking will be another podcast. The idea I have for the podcast, the second podcast, it's going to be called Old Bitch Disney Rewatch, where a friend and I, a very funny comic friend and I, rewatch a movie from our childhoods that we maybe haven't seen since we were childhoods with our old, degenerating old bitch eyes, and talk about it and shit we maybe didn't notice before. And goof on that and have a good time. And I think that will be behind the paywall that is Patreon. And here's what I'm thinking, you guys. Right now I have 100,000 followers. I expect that number to it's getting higher every time I post. If 5% of those people become patrons, and this is a very conservative, under-earning estimate as far as I'm concerned, if 5% of those people contribute $1 a month through Patreon, then that means through my TikTok and through this podcast, all of which is just fun to do anyway, that right there is a $60,000 a year income stream. If more people do, or they pay more on Patreon, that's a lot more money. If 10% do, that's $120 a year. And this seems very doable to me. It doesn't seem like a crazy pipe dream. I'm not loaded with fear about it. I'm sort of like, yeah, this is something I can do. Hell yeah, this is something I can do. So, what I think and I'm not really sure what the tiers will be. Maybe it'll just be if you're on the Patreon, you get the premium content and there's not a big difference between the tiers. Lots of podcasts do that. There's a podcast called Cumtown, which, if anyone out there watches FIFI Quest and Cumtown, I want to meet you because you're probably cool. And I would love to know what your tastes are. Cumtown, it's this really funny I'll say this, it's this really, really juvenile 13-year-old boyish humor and I say that with love, mind you. There's not a damn thing wrong with that. There are parts of Cumtown that make me laugh harder than anything I've ever heard, but for the most part it makes me go, but you're a 34-year-old woman, what are you doing? But all that to say, that show makes probably, I think I said on their Patreon, I believe when I looked, I believe that show makes $70,000 a month in patrons, and all it is if you pay any amount of money anymore on Patreon, you get access to the premium episodes. Why not what I do? So, anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. Really love you guys a lot. I want to give a shout out to my friend Alistair Wallace in Adelaide, Australia, and his podcast Get Soft with Dr. Snuggles. Give that a listen, everybody. And I've been a little lax with checking the email, but if you want to reach out to me, I can be reached at fifiquestpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much for supporting the show, everybody. I love you all very much. Thanks.